Hello and welcome to the TheDohShow, everyone. I am your host, Johnny P, as always. And today, he's not just a post, but he's a post built out of multiple 1x1s and 1x4s. We got Ryan Burke with us in the house.
Whoa. Lego my ego.
Lego?
Lego my Lego.
Where do they come from? Where do they go?
Where do they come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
So today we unbox the blueprints to construct one of the biggest toy companies to sweep the globe.
Brick by brick.
Yes, and although Lego sets start recommended age 5 and up,
This podcast is 18 plus.
No! No! Go! The history of the lovable toy and building toy. The Lego group was created in a carpentry workshop of a man named Old Kirk Christensen. He lived in Billund, Denmark in 1916. And the shop mostly constructed houses and furniture at the time.
Unfortunately, the workshop burned down in 1924 when a fire ignited none other than the wood shavings from all of the furniture he'd been building. So Christensen constructed a larger workshop with even more shavings.
Yes. Obviously, I feel like my issue was not enough untreated shavings of wood around.
But he did this because he wanted to expand his business.
Yes, he wanted to expand his business after it burned down, which seems like a very likely story to the insurance company. Actually, I don't even think they had fucking insurance companies back then. But when the Great Depression hit, he had fewer customers and he had to focus on smaller projects because, you know, they're making all these Davenports. They got Davenports up to their ears. So he started producing miniature versions of the Davenports. And he also, you know, other furniture terms. And he was doing that as design aids instead of being like, here's the full model on the floor. Here's a little tiny one. If you want it, pay me for it. I'll make it. And it was miniature models of stepladders, ironing boards, and that all inspired him to start producing toys.
And then on August 10th of 1932, Christensen's shop started making wooden toys such as piggy banks, pull toys, cars, trucks, houses, you know, anything a kid in the 1930 eras played with because of the state of economy. It's like, yeah, let's make miniature things for the kids. The kids still will spend money because they got jobs.
Yeah, the kids got jobs. The kids got spending money. But because of this, like you said, the state of the economy, the business wasn't profitable, which, I mean, we just came out of the wild 2020s, and we know a lot of businesses are like, oh, you know, because of the state of the economy, things aren't working out too well.
So what did Mr. Ole do?
Yeah, Mr. Ole. We'll call him Old Kirk. Old Kirk from here on out, because Christensen is too many syllables. So farmers in the area, I feel like, kind of took pity on him. They would trade him food in exchange for his toys. And Old Kirk continued producing practical furniture and, in addition to that, toys to stay in business. You know, because obviously, you know, if you got Davenports up to your ears, you're going to keep selling them, but you're not going to keep making them. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So enough about this furniture. How did this furniture making wood shop get the company's iconic name?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Ryan. In 1934, Old Kirk, he held a contest amongst his staff to name the company because old Kirk was good at one thing, and that one thing was not naming companies. So he asked all of the people in his staff to come up with names, and, being the savvy businessman he is, he offered as a prize a bottle of wine that he made at his house.
John, it's right after the Great Depression, bro. These people, it's all they got.
Well, the Great Depression would have been a little greater if he would have passed out some more prizes. Notice they didn't win any toys or Davenports. Fucking people are sitting on bottles of wine at home trying to eat their dinner. But so originally, I believe, old Kirk, he considered two different names. It was either Legio, which was a mix of, an implication of Legion of Toys. Legio, Legion of Toys.
Or
Lego. It's a self-made contraction from the Danish phrase leg godt, which means play well. So, when all the football players coming out on the Danish pitch, all the people in the crowd, leg godt, leg godt, leg godt.
Yeah, but if you're chanting that at a giant pace, that probably sounds pretty cool.
Leg godt, leg. Actually, I could hear that. That does sound pretty cool. But past leg godt, they finally added on to get to the Lego group. Lego could be loosely interpreted as I put together or I assemble in Latin. Ryan, you remember Latin from school. Is that correct?
See. So what happened after that?
Old Kirk, he selected Lego, gave that poor schmuck a bottle of shit basement wine that he had, and the company began using it on all its products. Now think of that. Imagine like a family story. Because people always have these kinds of stories. You never know if they're true or not. Oh, yeah? Well, my grandpa, he invented the name Lego, and all he got given was a bottle of wine.
Yeah, right.
What about the bricks, Ryan?
Well, in 1947, old Kirk here.
Old Kirky Poo?
Yeah, he got some old samples of a British patented invention from 1939. So almost 10 years later?
About.
A little less.
10.2.
So these bricks that he got in his possession were produced by a company called Kittycraft. And these bricks were called Kittycraft Self-Locking Building Bricks. What a name. Very unique.
What a name. Really rolls off the tongue.
Very crafty for a Kittycraft kind of brand, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just I could see it now. All the kids in town going, Mom, Dad, I want the Kittycraft self-locking building blocks. Please get me the new set of Kittycraft self-locking building blocks.
Bricks. They're bricks. They're not blocks. They're
building
bricks.
bricks. They're the building bricks. I need them, please. Give me the bricks, Terry.
So these contained hollow plastic cubes with 4 studs on the top that allowed their positioning atop one another without lateral movement. So they locked.
Yeah, they seem like they locked just fine. But after World War II, plastic became available in Denmark, and the people in Denmark were like, we could have used this during the war. But Lego purchased their first plastic molding injection machine in that same year. And you can actually, if you have a modern day Lego set in your house, go look at them. You will see the injection points on the actual bricks. You'll see one stud on the top where the Lego logo is a little bit faint, and you'll see a brighter colored dot, and that is where they inject the plastic into making your modern Legos.
But back to the future, Marty. No. 10 years later, the Lego group began producing similar bricks, calling them automatic binding bricks,
Totally unlike the Kitty Craft self-locking building bricks.
Words, man.
I mean, like, this shit would have never flew nowadays.
Well, we found out that they didn't have insurance and they didn't have lawyers, apparently. So,
Yeah.
wild times back then.
I mean, that's like you got samples of a different patented invention. You're like, someone should invent this. And then they got away with it. It's ridiculous. But I digress.
Tell me about these bricks.
So they were then manufactured from cellulose acetate. They were developed in the spirit of traditional wooden blocks that could be stacked upon one another, but could be, quote unquote, locked together. We're not talking about no lock and key. We're not talking about no turnkey situation. Quote unquote, they say. But they had several round studs, like you said on the last ones, and on top they had the studs and then a hollow rectangular bottom, and they would stick together, but not so tightly that they couldn't be pulled back apart. It was not a permanent locking situation.
So it sounds like they pretty much went from not plastic bricks to plastic bricks. It's the same mold, same form. They just made it out of plastic now.
Yeah. I mean, basically. I feel like with plastic, with injection molding, it's a little bit easier to be more hollow shaped with things. Because if you think about it, imagine trying to make a 2x4 Lego brick out of wood, the way that it looks now.
Yeah.
That shit would be complicated as a motherfucker.
It's also much more precise with moldings. So they probably locked a little bit better.
Yeah. In the early 50s, the bricks were given a new name, and I feel like old Kirk came up with this one. You know what I'm saying? Because like Lego Merston just rolls right off the tongue with the kids. But that's just because it's in a different language. In English, it would be Lego bricks, which is pretty much how we have been calling them the whole episode.
These building blocks were moderately received by the public, but had some problems from a technical standpoint. Like we talked about earlier, their locking ability was limited. And I guess they weren't versatile, which, I mean, how versatile? They've come a long way, but how versatile did they want them to be in the 1950s? What are they trying to do? Build houses with these?
Well, I mean...
They're called bricks, damn it.
Well, bricks are bricks, goddammit. I'm building myself a house. I feel like they've definitely stepped up since then, but, you know, without the precision machining to make said injection molds, I feel like there might be a lot of inconsistencies with the size of bricks. The locking would either be, you either got a loosey-goosey on one, you got a fucking tight duck on the other. I don't know what the other phrase is for that, but yeah, the legusies would be different textures because the machining was not correct at that time. But that was just in 53. You know, they moved on pretty quickly. In 58, the bricks were improved and they added the hollow tubes in the underside, and this change added not only support in the base, but enabling much better locking ability and more versatility, because, you know, instead of them stacking one by one or one on the side of one, you know, two on the bottom, one on the top in the middle, now you can do sideways, upways, diagonal ways, all sorts of goofy shit. And
the company decided to patent these new designs.
Yeah.
As well as several similar designs to avoid competition and to stop any companies from stealing their stolen design.
So they got, listen, you go to the patent office, you try and make Legos, no can do. Bagos, taken. Sagos, also taken. You got the Bajagos, which are, I'm not going to get into it, also taken. Any single thing you try and do, The only companies that are able to get away with just bootlegging Lego is companies that can get away with bootlegging anything. You go on Temu right now, you'll find a $200 Lego set made from some company, and it'd be $34. And you might think, hey, that's pretty nice. It's a pretty good deal on that Ghostbusters car Lego set. And then you get it, and you're like, man, that looks really cool. And then you start building, and you're like, man, this is really cool. And then you get to the end, and you're like, why do all these corners keep fucking falling off? You know why? Because it's not a leg got. It's a leg not. All right, so back to old Kirk Christensen. Sadly, he died that year in 1958 after patenting his stolen product. And his son, Gottfried, inherited the leadership of the company. Now, we were calling old Kirk Christensen Old Kirk. We're going to call his son by his short name, God.
And for tragedy to neatly stack with locking ability on top of tragedy. Another warehouse fire struck because they had some old shavings apparently laying around or something.
Some old... I must keep these old toys from my grandfather. They mean so much to me. It's like, yeah, you can keep them, but we need to keep... Do you need to keep them next to the furnace? Can't you put them on a shelf?
In 1960, this happened, consuming most of the company's inventory of wooden toys. So you're right. Yes, they had some extra wooden toys laying around that apparently, they got plastic and wood. It's a whole hodgepodge. They're not agreeing.
No, they were not. And son God decided that the plastic line was strong enough to abandon the production of wooden toys. I'm not surprised after 2 fucking fires taking down your company, maybe be like, forget about the wood.
But his brother Gerhard said, nah, the wood is here to stay.
Said, stay with the wood. Stay with the wood. Stay with the wood. That's what he was screaming. He was walking down the streets of, what was the place that they lived? Bullen?
Yes, Bullen. He was just the head of wooden toys at the time. So he's like, hey, man, if you cut me, you're cutting my job here. So I'm going to stick with me. Cutthroat brothers right there. That's what that is.
I mean, seriously, cutthroat. We didn't even do any history on this family, but obviously we didn't need to. They did not get along. Gottfried was like, you know what? I think we're going to cut the whole wooden toys department. And his brother is sitting right next to him like, you're going to what? The what? So Gerhard, we'll call him Hard now, and someone named Carl
George.
Carl
George.
So Carl and Hard, they left the Lego company, and also they left it. No, their part of the company was completely axed from the company.
I think they call that downsizing.
Yeah. No lateral movement on those bricks, I'll tell you what. So they would start a separate company called Bilofix. Coming soon to a country near you. The Building Blocks of America. During the decade that brought us the Summer of Love, not only did America get the Grateful Dead and LSD, it also got Lego. First started being sold in the States.
But John, it was not by the Lego group themselves.
Very right, Ryan. Lego wanted to expand sales to North America. Who wouldn't? They did not have the logistical capability to do so. Who would? But Lego made an arrangement allowing Samsonite to begin producing and selling Lego products in the United States and Canada.
Wait, Samsonite, like the dude with the hair?
Yeah, the dude with the hair. That narrows it down.
No,
yeah, the dude with the hair.
No, the Bible guy.
God? Who?
From the Grateful Dead song.
You should have said that from the fucking beginning. But no, it's a It's not Samson and Delilah. It's a plastic company out of Colorado that made luggage of all things. And although the name was taken from a biblical story, they not really biblical Lego sets.
Ah, yes.
1962 saw the introduction of the first Lego wheel, the invention of the wheel. And then from there, bang, boom, straight to the moon. Nothing but planes, trains, and automobiles, baby.
Hey, but they're only made from Lego bricks.
The next year, cellulose acetate, the material used to create Lego bricks, was replaced by the more stable acrylonitrile butyltennessine styrene. We'll just call it ABS plastic. And ABS plastic is still in use today. It is non-toxic, less prone to discoloration and warping, and is more resistant to heat, acids, salt, and other chemicals.
In late 63, we see the inclusion of manuals in the Legos sets. Yeah, because 63, everyone was like, what's going on, man? We need direction.
I see all these bricks, man, but nothing to do with them, man.
Before, people just played with Legos. The creative mind juices were flowing. Now they build Legos. Now, Lego sets have taken us as far as the outer reaches of space, as far back as the medieval era, and cast us all the way out to sea as pirates.
Yarr. Speaking of the sea, one thing Lego has done to reel us in is give us the chance to build and play in the realms of our favorite worlds.
Like what? We got Star Wars, we got Harry Potter, there's Mario.
Yes, like Mario and Harry Potter and Star Wars and Jurassic Park and Ninjago, whatever that is, and city building. You build a helicopter, you build all sorts of stuff. The Lego company has come far from the history in Denmark to its first appearance in America, from wooden toys to plastic bricks, from burned up buildings to building sets with more pieces than the fucking house that I live in. From bringing joy to farmers' children in trade for food, to bringing joy to me in trade for money that I should have spent on food. I am so glad that we finally got to the history of this in our Lego-ish podcast.
Wait. What about The Simpsons?
Hola y bienvenido a TheDohShow. Hello, this set is no longer available. Thank you.
We've unended Maggie Roswell that ends well. Now slice into a sideshow beef.
In the red corner, standing at 23 centimeters high, 42 centimeters wide, and 24 centimeters deep, weighing in at 2,523 pieces, making its first heavyweight debut February 2014. In the corner, standing behind them, Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, Maggie, and Ned Flanders. Hailing from the Lego set number 71006, The Simpsons House!
And out the blue corner with 2,179 total pieces, standing at over 6 centimeters high, 6 centimeters wide, and 15 centimeters deep. In May 2015, set 71016 took its form the Quickie Mark. Standing behind it, Apu, Snake, and Chief Wiggum. Wait, what do I see?
It's Homer and Bart Simpson in the corner of both sets. All right, Simpson sets, are you ready? I want a clean build. Follow the instructions at all times. I don't want any loose or broken pieces. Organize your bricks. Come out stacking. Fighting out of Minifig Series Gym 71005, Collectible Minifig Series Team 1, Abe Simpson, Chief Wiggum, Nelson Muntz, Apu, Nelson...
Dude, I thought we were done with this whole wrestling thing.
Ralph Wiggum, Ned Flanders, Mr. Burns, Krusty, Itchy, Scratchy, Millhouse Van Houten.
Bro.
And, of course, Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, Maggie, all made their public appearance in May of 2014.
Come on, dude.
2015, a second attempt at the title from the 21009 Gym, Collectible Minifig Series 2, came out appearing in no particular order, giving us their Sunday's best...
Seriously?
Homer, Marge, Lisa, known to be catty, with Snowball 2. Maggie, got that dog with her in Santa's Little Helper.
Seriously? We're continuing this? You're gonna keep going? What the hell?
Yes, and finishing up the undercard with Smithers, Patty and Selma, Comic Book Guy, Groundskeeper Willie, Edna Crandall, Dr. Hibbert, Professor Frink, Hans Moleman, Martin Prince, and finishing up the undercard with Fallout Boy and Bartman.
We done? We done with the whole wrestling thing yet? We done?
You wanted the best and you got the best. The hottest show in the world.
Yeah. And the Simpsons, we get it, and we move on. The Simpsons minifigs were molded 3 times bigger than the normal minifig, and that was to get the head shape done.
Yes, you are right with that, Ryan. They did sculpt them 3 times bigger to get the head shape done. They only had to sculpt one side of the head, and they just mirrored the other side. So, half the work. But they didn't mirror the painting, though, because there's some sets where characters are looking left and right, and if you just mirrored it, they'd be having all sorts of bulbous iguana eyes. Say that 4 times fast.
All right, well, after those sets came out, they kind of diverged. 3 years later, sometime in like October, our good old friends at LEGO assembled a Homer Simpson and Krusty the Clown series entitled 41632, if anyone wants to look it up. And those were the brickheads that they brought to the world.
Yeah. As a LEGO fan, they have a few brickheads with a Z, things that they do. And I love LEGO. I love certain things. I love The Simpsons, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. But this is kind of like the equivalent of building a Funko Pop out of LEGO. And I'm not the biggest fan of those.
If you're interested in Funko Pops, revert to our last episode entitled Funko Pops.
Did you know a LEGO version of Millhouse appears in the LEGO movie? Also, in the LEGO Dimensions video game, there are currently 3 different characters, Homer and Bart Simpson, and Krusty the Clown. If you use the minifigs and the Dimensions base for the console, it unlocks a special level for you to experience.
Oh yeah. Well, did you know, nerd, that The Simpsons had a LEGO-inspired episode? Did you? Did you know that, huh? Did you? Did you know a special 12th episode in Season 25, LEGO episode entitled Brick Like Me, aired in early May of 2014? Did you know that?
Or did I know? You mean the one where Homer wakes up in a world where his family and everyone in Springfield are made of Lego, and he must put together how he got there to get home? Actually, one of my favorite Simpsons writers, Matt Selman, you ever heard of him, huh? Nerd, who served as a showrunner for many years, said that it took more than 2 years going back and forth with our friends at the LEGO company, took some time to stop the motion of the film. It's stop motion. You know that, huh? And furthermore, Mr. Post, in the soundtrack to the episode, it featured the one and the only Mr. George Harrison of the Beatles with the song Dream Away. Did you know that? Have you heard of this? Have you seen this, Mr. Jay Leno, huh? Nothing to say, huh? Your silence speaks volumes. Overall, we've covered the best the LEGO League has to offer, from the outer reaches of space to the streets of Springfield. From the heavyweight battle of the buildings to the rags to riches story of both sets 71005 and 71009. We've seen the up-and-comers from the minifig series 1 and 2, and their appearance in pop culture media. Starring in the classic hit episode of the classic hit episode from The Simpsons, Brick Like Me. Keep an eye out on social media platforms near you for the debuild and then rebuild of the classic hit Simpsons sets. In a LEGO style. This is The Doh Show. Hasta luego.